Hi there, dear friend and watcher. I want to make a little video about the importance of not assuming, and secondly, the importance of not taking things personally. So, assuming or presuming is like believing something before you really know the truth. It's jumping to conclusions that you believe in, that you let sink into your being, you take seriously. So, assuming isn't just like guessing, like I'm guessing that's what they meant. There's a neutrality there, there's a peaceful neutrality of emotions there. But if you say, if you think that somebody was having a go at you or meant something negative towards you, you're not neutral anymore, you're more on the negative side. You're going to be emotionally not neutral, you're going to be emotionally disturbed in some fashion, maybe stressed, upset or irritated or annoyed or something like that. And you might feel the need to defend yourself or to counterattack. Whereas if you know that you don't know exactly what somebody means, you can be neutral and you can ask what you don't know. You can fill in the gap of not knowing what they mean by simply asking. So, is this what you meant, or what do you mean? And it is no longer an egoic, unconscious reaction. So this is extremely important in relationships. You'll see this all the time with people. People are getting offended very easily and jumping to conclusions and presuming what people mean. And it's often totally wrong and mistaken. Okay. So let's first of all see this in you and see this in others and become more aware of it. The key is communication. Often people, they just simply need, instead of jumping to conclusions, they need to fill in the gaps by asking questions, as I said. Or else you just communicating more, you can always become a better communicator too. But second of all, taking things personally. You don't have to take things personally. Even if we do jump to a conclusion, let's say we think for sure somebody is calling us selfish or upset or angry, irritated, and calling us stingy or controlling or whatever. So we may think that it's untrue, but our ego, our sensitive, conditioned part of ourself will feel offended and will jump to the idea that, oh my God, something awful is happening, like they're unjustified, and what are they saying? Like, they're unjustified, they're wrong, it's unreasonable, it's unjustified. But that's just like, that's an emotional reaction in you, so just look at that. You don't need to jump to all of these defensive reactions or counterattacks. Yeah, you can talk if you want, but you can talk from feeling peace and not feeling all disturbed. So just bear that in mind. You can take care of the situation consciously, not egoically, unconsciously. Not springing from heavy emotions and disturbing, uncomfortable emotions, but from peace and wishing to simply unravel a misunderstanding. So you can still take action and talk, but you do not have to talk. You're choosing to talk rather than having to talk because you feel so bad emotionally. So let's understand, if people criticize us, it's sometimes because sometimes it's constructive and they're being kind, and in that case we can look at ourselves and see if we've been wrong or inaccurate. So we truthfully look at ourselves with an open mind. Sometimes people are mean or unfriendly and criticize us, and that's often not because of us, but it's typically often, very much so, it's because of them. And this is what's called not taking things personally. They're upset, they're irritated, they're frustrated with life. They're maybe unhappy, or they're maybe sad, or they're dealing with difficulties in their life at the moment. So it's not because you did something reasonably harmless, but they may have an overreaction because they have unhealed pain and hurt from the past, or they're having a hard day. And they're just letting it out on you. So you don't have to get upset because you think there's something wrong with you. You don't have to believe them. If they say you're a crap singer, you don't have to believe that and take it personally and stop singing. You don't have to get upset. You can just think, well, that's their opinion. And if they were in a very, very happy mood, they'd never say that to you. they'd probably be like smiling and being happy and cheerful. So one person can be happy and compliment you, and another person can be sad and criticize you. One person can be stressed and blame you for something that you didn't do. They can interpret things negatively also when people are in an upset or bad mood or stressful time in their life, or they have lots of unhealed hurts from the past. So they will interpret things more negatively, and they'll be more easy to criticize and react from their ego. We don't have to get upset ourselves from any of this. We can just like water off a duck's back. It'll just bounce off us because we know it's not us that they're angry at. It's their own anger that's expressing, and we're just in the proximity. I'll give you some examples from my life, okay? Sometime recently, somebody wanted to brush ants out of the house in the kitchen, and I was like, oh, no, please don't do that. I love ants. I asked him please not to do that. I love ants, you know. And I said I'm really sensitive, like, to people killing ants or insects. And that person immediately, I was going to say, and I'm also the same, sensitive towards seeing people being bullied or mistreated or abused. But I never even had the chance to say that about the humans, and just to try and explain the fact that I'm somewhat sensitive. Trying to explain my feelings and my perspective just so they understand me. And they immediately jumped to the defense and were irritated and upset and angry because they interpreted that I was trying to say I'm very sensitive and compassionate, but obviously I'm more sensitive and compassionate than you are because you're trying to brush the ants away and killing some. So they thought that I was having a go at them. They thought my reason and intention for saying that I'm very sensitive or compassionate very sensitive towards the ants, they thought that I was trying to put them down and to be mean to them. So obviously they felt attacked. But even that they assumed here, they presumed, and they got upset. First of all, they didn't need to presume this. They could have just simply asked me, Owen, do you mean that like I'm not compassionate or I'm mean? And then I would have said, oh no, not at all. But instead they jumped to a conclusion and they felt upset, and there was a disturbance in our relationship for the moment. Second of all, even if they did make this conclusion, they didn't need to take it personally. They could have just felt, well, Owen just has this issue where he thinks he's like brilliant and better than everybody. It's not got to do with me, it's got to do with him. So there's always two ways of avoiding being emotionally upset and disturbed. And that's not to be assuming and jumping to conclusions that you don't know are true for sure. And secondly, even if that's the case or not, you just don't think personally, and you realise people say things because of how they're feeling at the moment, not because of truly how you are necessarily. But it's always important to look at yourself and to see where you can improve and where you've been wrong or inaccurate. So that's the most recent one, the recent example from my life. Just there on Facebook a few minutes ago, somebody said to somebody else in a group, well, you being a good socialist, you would think this way. I think that was approximately the sentence they used, but the other person said, I presume you're meaning that as an insult. But I didn't think it was an insult. I think I reasonably know this man, and he doesn't go around insulting. He's always polite and respectful, but he always speaks his truth. But the thing is, why would you ever jump to the conclusion that somebody's trying to be mean or have a go at you or put you down or insult you? It could be simply that he simply thinks what you just said is in line with socialism, and this is the literal meaning in the dictionary. There's no emotional charge of disrespect or insulting. So always just be very, very careful of how we jump to conclusions about people, and let us communicate more and exercise the gift of our beautiful throat, our voice, to communicate. And that's a lovely thing, and then we can all understand each other better, and less drama and less conflict. So I was originally supposed to make this for like a 2 or 3 minute video, but I guess I had to explain it a little bit more, and I also wanted to throw in some examples from life. So hope this helped you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Much love and peace, and feel welcome to share this on Facebook or with friends who you think might help benefit from this. And also to like and subscribe, and to share, to favorite the video, so it'll be there on your YouTube for other people to see, and for you to go back to in the future if you so wish. Thanks again, and I shall see you next time. Much love and blessings. Bye.